At harm. I am Supergirl.
Just finished watching Supergirl, Season 4, Episode 11, Blood Memory. This episode was really interesting. We start off this episode, it was really interesting dealing with this. Did focus a lot more on the Nia Null storyline, the Dreamer storyline and stuff, and a little bit with the leftover of Supergirl and wiping Alex's memory, and I kind of like the way they kind of played with that. So we start off this episode with a bit of the Russian Supergirl, and they kind of she kind of like faints or something during some sort of during training and stuff, and ends up sitting kind of like they try to revive her, and the electricity kind of goes all over the world and makes these kind of super steroids type thing, which is kind of weird. But okay, it happened. And we see Alex having kind of some small memory loss problems, and it's kind of interesting with that. At first I thought, seeing the trailers, I was like, why are we seeing this? Like, we've seen John Jones do this a lot, wiping people's memories and all that stuff, but we've never seen the side effects of this, and all of a sudden there's some side effects. But I like how this kind of comes in, and like how they portray the side effects to John Jones wiping Alex's memory. Now, we've never had a main character where we've followed and stuff, so we've never really seen if there really are side effects, but it just seems a bit out of like, why are all of a sudden side effects for Alex when we haven't seen, they haven't established for season 4, and they haven't established that, John Jones wiping people's memories, leaves side effects and stuff. But because he wiped such a big part of her memory, of her life type thing, she didn't know who her sister, what her favorite movie was, because her favorite movie was Wizard of Oz, which was related to her being an alien from out of this, from a different planet, right? And I think that's kind of an interesting idea, playing with that, and I think that was a really interesting idea with that. So I like the way things happened, how things went down with that. Hopefully they can stay with this, and, just it being like certain things that were tied. She forgets things about her sister Kara because they were tied to her being an alien being, things like that. So I think that could be really cool. And like I said, I really need to see Eliza Danvers come back, see Helen Slater come back for a while, because having her involved with the storyline would be really interesting. To seeing her, she comes back, and Kara needs to mention to her, so that Alex doesn't just call her up one day and she just slipped that, your daughter, your sister's Supergirl, right? That would be kind of weird. So they need to make sure. We need to see that. We need to see Supergirl, calling Eliza and mentioning to her, even if we just see it for in text or something at one point now. I think that could be really interesting, like that, or even just would be really interesting is if Alex decided she was just going to randomly, I'm just going to call mom, I got to ask her about this or that. And then she just realizes, I got to go, I got to warn her. And she literally, she could literally fly over to see Eliza, super speed, getting there before Alex even just finished dialing the phone, and she's able to warn her, don't tell Alex about Supergirl. We had to wipe her memory for that, long story. And I think that could be a really interesting kind of plot line to play with, and to see as to what does Eliza think about this? Would she be mad at Carl for doing this? I think that'd be a really interesting kind of storyline, I think, to see what is her opinion on that, explaining to her how the situation was, and we had to deal with that. I think that could be really interesting. And also getting Dean Cain back, seeing what his Jeremiah Danvers' opinion is on the whole situation, and could be quite interesting, and kind of playing with this. It could be really fun. So I think we can't wait to see as to where things go with that storyline. We see Kara ends up driving Nia to her family's place for for a celebration or something like that, for some holiday. And we see Alex ends up asking John to look inside her mind, because she's kind of, she's missing pieces and stuff, and kind of a little bit off. And I think that's kind of interesting, like her driving whole, because it was such a big part of her growing up, was growing up with Supergirl and stuff. I think that's an interesting idea, that a lot of her view on life, her things that shaped her have completely gone, and completely shaping her to a different person. I think that's really interesting, and it's really going to be fun to play with that. So we see Nia's mother dies and stuff, and she kind of predicted that, but she could have saved her, I guess. But it was inevitable, because she was passing on the powers and stuff. So that was okay. Alex ends up threatening to arrest Supergirl when she gets too much involved without knowing all of the facts and stuff. And I think that's kind of interesting with that. It would be cool to see as to where things go with that. It would be kind of interesting to see as to, this new Alex, would she kind of be on General Haley's side, and the two of them start digging deeper and deeper into who Supergirl is. Does Alex still not want to leave Supergirl's identity alone? I don't know. This new Alex, the one who threatened her to arrest Supergirl, could be interesting. I could see her, if Haley said, hey, we need to look into this, I could see her just wanting, yes, we need to start looking into it. She's getting too much in the way, and I think she's only one more, only a few more, one more big, getting in the way a bit too much. She could start, trying to take down Supergirl too, trying to figure out who she is and stopping and holding that over her. And I think that could be an interesting idea to playing as to where things kind of go with that, right? And I think that could be quite interesting playing with that. So that was really cool, seeing Alex kind of threaten Supergirl. We see Kara ends up revealing herself as Supergirl to Nia, and I think it was interesting the way they did that. Very forgetful in terms of the moments. Now, if I go back to Smallville, because obviously this show is really going to get compared to Smallville. You go back to Smallville, the moments that he revealed to people, to Lana, to Lois, to anyone, his powers to Pete. They were iconic moments. I remember the first one in the early of Smallville when he reveals himself to Pete early on. His parents are in trouble, everything's in trouble, and he kind of runs after and stops the car and stuff, which was a cool moment. When what was it in Smallville when he revealed when Chloe finds out, she found it a few seasons earlier, and then then a few seasons later she reveals to him that she knows his secret, right? And here she's having family problems, I'm just gonna help her with this, whereas she did not have to do that. Yes, it helped her. It's a big thing to help her kind of to help her in her situation. But Kara didn't have to reveal her way as Supergirl. She could have helped her in a different way by being more supportive and being her own in a different way, being a good friend. Yes, it maybe would have been a lot slower and less fast of a results as revealing herself as Supergirl. But I don't know. There seems to be no consequences for people learning their secret identity, and they're not really playing with the secret identity at all in this. And I really kind of missed that from Smallville. So it was okay. I get the idea. I like it was kind of different, how it was a subtle moment. But Smallville, they're all the moments when he reveals himself to someone, or someone found out his powers and stuff, his secret. They were all memorable moments. They were like, there's a lot of top. There's a compilations all over YouTube of top I know your secret moments, or finding out your secret moments type thing from Smallville. And here, this one was just really unforgettable. Is an interesting moment for the whole idea that they chose to make it a smaller moment than a bigger moment, and it's really, really a forgetful secret identity reveal type thing, so that's what I find kind of annoying about it, is that it's very forgetful, and because of that, it's, but it seems like they did it on purpose, so we'll see as to where things go with that, but it was just kind of like, she's just revealing her secret identity to anyone, that's kind of annoying, and we've seen Lena been in situations like this, and she's not revealed herself to. Lena's been in dire situations where she could have just revealed herself as Supergirl, and that would have, helped her a lot. But, did she not reveal herself to Lena when she was in similar situations where she needed emotional support, and revealing herself as Supergirl would have done the same thing? Why not reveal herself to Lena like in this same situation? Because Lena's been in similar situations, where it could have helped like that. So, and is it just because she's a Luthor? I think that's really interesting, because if Lena does find out, it's like, you could have told me all these other times, you kept it from me. Is it because I'm a Luthor? And that could be, create some strife in between the two characters. That could be something interesting playing on later on. But I like the idea of keeping her with a secret identity. So we see James ends up turning away a reporter who's trying to look into Luthor Corp. He had a reporter throughout this episode coming into him, looking into the books of Luthor Corp, and he doesn't really bring it up. He never brings it up to Lena, but he turns her away, and assumingly he's going to keep looking into it on his own to see as to what she's really doing. And Lena did reveal that she's trying to make give people superpowers. She accidentally has given people superpowers. and she's learning to do things like that. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to him looking into Luthor Corp, to seeing as to who it is, and who was the reporter's source, and could it be Lex Luthor? I think that could be something interesting. I doubt it'd be Lex Luthor, since he's in prison and stuff, and Lena would probably have a lot of would know anytime someone goes to visit or talking to her brother, right? Should be getting updates probably very, very frequent about the new anything goes on with Lex Luthor, right, in prison. We see Nia gets her costume from her father, so that was okay. I'm not sure how I really like the costume. It's just kind of like a costume that doesn't really look any interesting or something like that, but it's kind of interesting for that. And I kind of don't understand why she needs a costume, just because of her powers set and stuff, but she's a character from the comics and stuff, so that would be kind of interesting. And I think it's going to be interesting. I think they need to reference the fact that in the comic books she was actually she was a part of the Legion, but she was also more part of the Legion of Substitute Heroes, which was a team of heroes that were not good enough for the Legion of Superheroes. So I think that'd be kind of funny if someone brings that up kind of as a joke. That thing could be quite funny to bringing that up. And then we end the episode with the Russian Supergirl again, and the Russians kind of reach out to see we need to talk to someone in America, and obviously I'm going to assume it's someone like Lex Luthor. So I could see that in the next episode, which actually won't be this weekend because of Super Bowl. It'll be pushed off for Super Bowl, and then we'll get another episode. So I think that's going to be interesting to see as to where things kind of go with all this. And the Nina storyline was kind of okay. I just prefer the Alex storyline, so I would have liked to have things kind of reversed and flipped over, have the Alex storyline being a bit more front and center, and then having the Nina storyline being a bit kind of backseat. But the way things played, it was very kind of intermingled and stuff. So I think I would have split this a little bit more into 50-50 and play a little bit more with the Alex storyline, to see as to what things go on. Maybe kind of expand a bit more on it when Alex first asked John Jones to go inside her head and look and see what's going on, as if we saw did he actually go inside of her head, or did he just pretend to do it? And if he went inside and just looked at things and saw all the stuff that's going on, all the messed up things, but didn't tell Alex what he saw, it's like, yeah, you're good, even though we know what he saw was kind of her in pieces and missing pieces, and and what did he put in there? He must have. If John Jones took out a big part of herself, what did he replace her with? Just leave her as a young child and stuff. And I think that could be kind of interesting to seeing that, if he looks inside of her memories, he can see that the fuzziness between this new, just Kara being her sister, not Supergirl being her sister anymore, could be something kind of interesting with that. And he can notices the fuzziness of that, and then Alex kind of playing with that. So I think that would have been interesting to kind of play, just go inside of her head with that, just to see what it looks like and how things are kind of messed up, but maybe she doesn't realize it, she doesn't understand, and doesn't know the difference. So I think it's just an interesting idea, and I would have kind of looked to expand that a little bit more, because I much prefer the Alex storyline for this season, because the Alex storyline is much more of a season-long, series affecting storyline than the Nina Null. Yeah, her getting superpowers and having superpowers and having a costume, yeah, cool, goes on, but she's not going to stay, she's not going to stay forever, right? So I think it's an interesting storyline. I definitely can't wait to see where things go, but I'm really excited. And hopefully the Russians who they're talking to, who they're looking for, maybe it's someone like Lex Luthor. I think that's going to be pretty cool, because I'm not sure as to when we're supposed to be seeing John Cryer type thing, the guy from 2.5 Men. So I think it would be interesting. Can't wait to see him as Lex Luthor. So let me know what you think, guys, about this episode in the comments below. Where do you think things are going to go with this, and which part was your favorite thing? And how do you think Eliza Danvers is going to react to finding out that Alex's memory, her whole childhood, big part of her childhood, has been wiped out? I think that's going to be quite interesting to deal with that, because it would affect her knowledge and her memory of Eliza type thing, since Eliza studied Supergirl throughout her whole life, right? So I think that's kind of interesting with that. So let me know what you think, guys, in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.
I'm Captain America, here to talk to you about one of the most valuable traits a soldier or student can have.
Subscribing.
Sometimes subscribing is the key to victory. Sometimes it leads to very little, and it seems like it's not worth it. And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing. How many more of these?
You're still here.
Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. Peace.
It's over.